Hey fellow golfers, I wanted to do something quick on shafts. I won't go into too many details to avoid some of the scientific elements, some of the engineering elements, but you will have seen in some of my fitting clips, I'll put a link up above, the importance of shafts in identifying your clubs and in choosing your clubs, be it the driver or your irons or even your wedges. They're essentially two types of shafts: steel shafts and graphite shafts. With steel shafts you have stepped shafts, which are basically wider and thicker at the top and narrower at the tip. And there's a purpose for having that, because then the flexibility is greater at the bottom. And then you have rifle shafts where it's smooth all the way down and of a similar diameter. As for graphite shafts, you have multi-material graphite shafts, titanium and nanofuse graphite shafts. Multi-material essentially is a combination of steel and graphite, and so it's a little bit lighter. In principle, it should give you more speed and distance as a result, with the reliability and straightness of steel. Titanium shafts, there's not a lot of information on them, but essentially they are lighter shafts and of course more expensive, as titanium is more expensive than steel. Nanofuse shafts are not steel but are metallic, and they are lighter and should give you the consistency of steel with a bit more distance that graphite gives you. So that's just a very quick touching base of different shafts that are available for clubs. However, within all of those aspects, you need to focus on the characteristics of shafts, and there are many. There's the flex, like, regular or stiff. There's the torque, which is really about how much the shaft twists. There's the weight, which is self-explanatory, the weight of the shafts are lighter and heavier. There is the issue of alignment of shafts, something not often talked about, but alignment really is, in the manufacturing process, there's often some errors, and the center point may not be as well aligned to your club face as it should be, even in between different clubs. So one could try to ensure that one checks that you're getting the alignment in a more neutral position for every shaft. Then there is parallel or tip. Parallel is the same diameter all the way through, and tipped is where it tapers at least down to the middle. Again, for that greater bit of flexibility. And then there's something called puring. It's a scientific measure based on algorithms within apparently 1% of accuracy, and it really helps you find the most neutral position of your shaft. Most shafts are not pured. It costs something to get them pured. Some pros do them, some don't, but it's just another aspect in case you're interested. And then of course there's the length of the shaft, not to mention of course the current debate with Bryson DeChambeau and even Phil Mickelson testing 47, 48-inch length shafts in their drivers that no doubt you've been following. In essence, to figure all of these things out that is best for your swing at any particular current time and the heads you are using, you should get fitted. And with all of these aspects, whether it's steel, graphite, make sure you get your lofts checked that suit your game and your swing speed, but also the lies, whether you're more upright, flat or neutral. So those are different aspects to think about when it comes to shafts, and when it comes to identifying the right shafts for your different types of clubs, be it a hybrid, be it the irons, be it your wedges, be it the driver. And even you'll see in putters now, there are different types of shafts, like the Stroke Lab Odyssey shafts have got graphite with metal. multi-material. I hope this quick summary just helps you understand the variety of things. You don't have to master them all. A good fitter will think about each of those dimensions and identify the best mix for you. And of course your budget will determine whether you want to go down that route of things like puring or checking alignment. So what does all this amount to? If you want to hit it further, particularly say a senior golfer, then you would want to try to get into a lighter shaft and one that is less stiff. Don't forget, while it may be further, you might be sacrificing some degree of straightness and accuracy. So there's a trade-off. But hitting it further requires certain characteristics in the shaft. If you want it, on the other hand, to hit it straighter, then a heavier shaft and a more stiff shaft is suitable. So if you're getting the distances that you want, but with the same distances you want greater accuracy, a heavier and stiffer shaft is what is more suitable. But also your swing speed will affect that. If your swing speed is very fast, then a heavier shaft and a stiffer shaft is better. If your swing speed is very slow, like some seniors would be, then a very light flex shaft with a more flexible kick points, etc., would be more suitable. If you want to hit it higher, so you're getting the right distances, maybe even the right accuracy, but you want the greater launch, partly for the flight purposes, but partly for landing angles. There are two things. You need to weaken the loft. So you look at get your lofts checked, but weakening the lofts will get it higher. And that probably has the major effect on the launch angle and therefore descent angle. And the other aspect to get it higher is a lower kick point. That has a minor role or minor impact. But it has some impact, so the combination of the two might be something you want to do. And obviously the opposite applies. If you want to get you're already hitting it too high, you're catching it too much in the wind, and therefore it dies and doesn't have the roll, you want to bring it lower, then you strengthen your lofts and you have a higher kick point. So those two combinations, and again, as in the previous case, the kick point will have a minor impact. The lofts will be the major factor.